Hi everybody, hope you have an amazing day. This is FC with CappersDirect.com, here to talk to you guys and give you guys your first look preview for the upcoming humongous UFC 284 event that goes down on Saturday, February 11th. But before we get into that, let's quickly just do a quick little recap of what happened this past weekend, right? We swept Bellator. We're talking about everything hit. All the underdogs. We had a plus 220 in there, hit. We had a plus 170, knockout, elbow, boom, no problem. The max fight pick hit. And in the max fight pick, I said, look, this is the way we're going to approach this. It's not going to go over 2.5, okay? The max fight pick is not going to go over 2.5, but look, I've been there. I've had it to where we're in the third round, and you're like, look at the UFC event. We had a small loss on the fact that we went under 2.5, and it ended with a minute left, right? So if we bet it at does not go to the decision, it would have been great. It's just that line wasn't out because it was big plus money for the under 2.5. So we hit the under 2.5, and man, we missed it by 1 minute in the UFC. But when you look at Bellator, I said, look, guys, go ahead, hit the fight doesn't go to decision, but it's not going to go over 2.5. So if all you can get is under 2.5 at minus 150, hit it, jump on it, knockout, second round, Bellator, everything hit. The whole entire card, all the underdogs, everything, bang, bang, bang. Then we get to the UFC. The UFC card was a small win. There are a couple things that didn't go our way, should I say, but it still was a win overall. The big one ended up coming through, and I won't get into it too much because it's very, very technical. But even the UFC max fight pick, we had Marcin Tybura. It was a big bet. I think at the time I put it out, it was like minus 140, minus 145. He was always going to be the max fight pick on this card. I felt like he had an advantage, but I mean, for when I do an event like this, when I do a special like this, you better get on it, right? I'm extraordinarily confident. I'm confident every week, but when I specifically tell you guys, like, hey, man, I'm giving you guys the Bellator max fight pick because I know it's a winner. I'm giving you guys the UFC max fight pick. Jump on the cards. I'm telling you guys, let's make some money. I told you guys all last week. Jump on it because we're going to make some money. And people murdered the books on Saturday. Murder. There's people out there that did garbage. There's people out there, cappers out there that did nothing. We murdered the books. So what do we have for this week? We're going to give you an early preview like we do every week into the main card for UFC 284. Let's look at it because it's going to be a banger of a card that's coming at you from Perth, Australia. We have Islam Makhachev. You see that over back there? You see that? You see that flex right there? That's one of the GOATs, right there. That's Khabib. That's a picture of Khabib flexing, saying some words, right? We know that's Khabib. We know we have Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. It's going to be a banger main event. 5 rounds in Perth, Australia. Islam Makhachev said, forget it. I'm fighting where you're from, Alex. I don't give a I'm going to take you down, and I'm going to beat you in front of your family. That's the kind of stuff Islam Makhachev, that's the level Islam Makhachev is on right now. And then we have a banger, another fight that could be a main fight, but it's not. It's the co-main event because this is a huge pay-per-view. We have Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett. You guys may not recall, but I remember making Josh Emmett like a dog of the night. This was like 2-3 years ago. And I had a bunch of clients, but I had one specific client come to me and be like, hey, man, you're picking an underdog here. Like, I don't know anything about UFC. What are you thinking? And I'm like, he's gonna win. He's gonna dominate. It's gonna happen. He's gonna win by knockout. It's probably gonna be in the second or third round. It's gonna be late. And I remember Josh Emmett was coming out. He got whooped. He was getting whooped up and down. And the third round came. Whop! Done. Out. Put Michael Johnson completely out. I mean, we were losing that fight up until the last 10 seconds. And I still to this day get text messages from that guy being like, hey, Josh Emmett's fighting this weekend. You remember? Yeah, I remember, dude. I remember. But let's get into your whole entire preview. Let's go over this main card right now, starting with the main event. Let's get into it. All right, so let's get into your main event breakdown between two champions. Guys, this is coming at you from 155 pounds. That's right. You heard me. 155 pounds. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. That's right. Alexander Volkanovski, the champion at 145 pounds, is moving up to become the champ. All right, let's look at the Islam Makhachev side. Islam Makhachev is a beast, man. There's not much I could probably tell you about these two guys that isn't already out there, but Let me tell you a story about Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev is a different beast. The guy is going to be younger, taller, longer than Alexander Volkanovski. The guy's 23-1. The one loss came from he got a little bit too overzealous, wasn't necessarily that versed in striking at the time, and ended up getting knocked out. And that's the one thing I think Alex Volkanovski is like looking at and like, you've been knocked out, brother. You've been knocked out. You can be knocked out again. But we know Islam Makhachev, man, wrestler through and through. This guy always looks at me. It's funny because I'm getting videos from his camp and everything, and man, or when his camp was up there in Russia, and man, Islam is a beast. Islam is taking everyone down. He drills and drills and drills until he's tired. He's got this regimen down. Khabib has mentored him and kind of taught him the way to go. I know Khabib's retired from coaching because it is very hard. These camps are in remote places. It's extraordinarily cold right now, and Islam's just doing his thing, man. He's going on runs every day. He's putting in the work. He knows the work that needs to be put in. But Islam is a guy who, even when I did visit him, he'd always be like, "You fat, brother. You fat." And this whole camp, I keep getting FaceTimes from him being like, "I know you're getting fatter." Islam he is no joke on the mat, and the guy is learning English, and he can roast, man. The guy can roast. He's like, "I know you're obese now." But needless to say, Islam Makhachev, man, he's looking good. And Alexander Volkanovski, I mean, he's moving up. He's looking to be a champ. Alexander Volkanovski's 25-1. He's no joke. But the one thing about Alexander Volkanovski is he can be taken down. He has been taken down in the past. He will pop back up. He has a rugby background, so Alexander Volkanovski always approaches these fights with like a really good game plan. And he's always got plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. He always has different game plans coming in. And if plan A is not working, he'll go to plan B as long as his body's holding up and as long as he's fighting in the fight, because he has this weird will to like just keep moving forward. Even when he's in a choke, he's got this will that's like, I guess I'm going to go out, but I'm going to keep fighting all the way through. And that's sort of the mentality Alex is coming in with. And so that mentality and having the success he had, he beat what many people considered to be the pound for pound champion and Max Holloway multiple times. I mean, Max is a beast, and Alex just had his number. Even though some of those fights were really close, I mean, Alex was considered and is considered like one of the pound for pound bests because of what he had done in that division. And now moving up, he's looking to do bigger things, bigger and better things. Can Alex do it? Guys, I am right now heavily on Islam Makhachev. He's going to be bigger. This is his weight class. He's put in the work. I know Alex has put in work. Alex has crazy game plans. And in my write-up on Friday, I'm going to let you know some of the game plans and some of the thought process Alex is going through. And honestly, the disrespect on the Alexander Volkanovski side, the fact that he's this big of an underdog is crazy. But Islam Makhachev, I'm telling you guys, is a different animal. He was our max fight pick last time. Easy max fight pick. I couldn't wait to put him as the max fight pick. If I could have double max fight pick Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira, I would have, because we had some amazing information about that, and I can't. But guys, tune in on Friday. I like Islam Makhachev now. I think Islam is just, he's just that guy right now. He's him. That's just the bottom line right now. I'll let you know if I come across something that Alexander's going to do or something interesting. We may look at some things, but as of right now, I like Islam Makhachev. I like Islam Makhachev to come out here in Alex's backyard and just do work, man. But let's get into your next fight. Now let's get into your co-main event. This co-main event is a banger, guys. The co-main event is coming at you from the featherweight division. This is going to be for the interim featherweight championship because obviously Alexander Volkanovski is fighting for the championship. So the UFC is doing a smart thing here because no matter what happens in the main event, they're setting up for a potential, if Volkanovski does lose, Volkanovski has his opponent right here, right? In the interim champion that's going to be showing himself in front of Alex's people. So let's do a quick dive into this. Yair Rodriguez is coming into this 14-3, looking at his side first. He's 30 years old. He's going to have a lot more height in this, but slightly reach. This is going to be in the bigger cage. Yair's a pretty good friend of mine. Very elusive, fast. He gets up quickly. Yair's one of these guys who's looking for challenges. Like when he fought Max Holloway, he was like, I'm going to fight what I consider to be one of the pound for pound guys ever. and I'm going to do work. And he did do work, and Max went to the wrestling there. And I think that is one of the biggest keys to beating Yair Rodriguez. It's been out there. Frankie Edgar took him down repeatedly and just worked Yair Rodriguez, a guy who's known for his volume, known for his striking, known for his flashy strikes. He can be grounded and he can be held down. Now, that's one of the things he has been working on constantly ever since that Frankie Edgar fight. So it's not like something, you're not going to just take this guy down and expect like, okay, hold him down. That's the key. The guy's 14-3 for a reason. He's going to be getting back up. If you look at the record, if you look at Yair Rodriguez and talking to Yair's been buzzed in the cage. Don't think he hasn't, but he's never gone down. And he knows that he's the kind of guy who wins minutes. That's what Yair Rodriguez does. Now, we talked a little bit about Josh Emmett in the intro, but Josh Emmett's 18-2. The guy's a beast. He's 37, though. He's my age, so he's 37 years old. He has a crazy knockdown rate. He's a wrestler and a KO artist himself. At the end of the day, though, he is a moment winner, right? So he punches very hard from the hip and does things that make refs believe like, oh yeah, Josh is winning this fight. When in actuality, Josh might be down with certain strikes. And that's the thing, is it's volume versus power. It's Josh Emmett's ability to swing from the hip in the third and fourth and fifth round, which he does have that ability to go long. That is scary in this fight. But there's something that's going on in this fight that I will let you guys know on Friday. There's some specific that's going on in this fight. So you're going to want to tune into that right up, because there's something here. So I'm not going to get into it too far, but just know that on Friday we're going to have something for you that may end up shocking you. So I like this fight. This co-main event, voice crack. This co-main event is going to be great. Now, let's get into your next fight. All right, let's get into your next fight. Your next fight is coming at you from the welterweight division. We have Randy Brown versus Jack Della Maddalena. Let's look at the Randy Brown side. Randy Brown is 32 years old, 16-4. He's coming in this with height and reach. The question is does he have a chin? Now, his chin has been tested many times. Recently, many people have just considered Randy Brown to be going up against people that hit pretty hard. And Randy has left himself open. He considers himself very evasive. But the issue that I'm finding with Randy Brown is he's extraordinarily cocky. When these cocky guys come in, a lot of times they're like, yeah, you thought you were going to knock me out. Everyone thought that you were going to knock me out, but you didn't knock me out. In fact, I'm going to rock you constantly. I'm going to hit you with this. I'm going to hit you with that. And I'm just going to be there for you. Watch. Ooh, my face is there. Not there anymore. Pop, 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 pop. That's Randy Brown. That's his game currently, because he does have that stand up. He is long, but knowing Randy Brown is a BJJ guy. He's a guy who started in BJJ. Well, didn't really start in BJJ, but does have a solid background in BJJ. He's got really great front chokes. He can take this thing down if he wants to. The question is he coming in here cocky? Is he coming in here too cocky? Does he know that everyone thinks Jack Della Maddalena is going to knock him out, and therefore Randy Brown's going to go up there and be like, come on, guy, just like everyone else couldn't knock me out, neither can you. And the thing is Jack Della is the man when it comes down to striking. Let's look at the Jack Della side. Jack is 26 years old. He's 13-2. The guy has KO power, great boxing. He likes to move forward. He likes to keep this little bit of a shell style and likes to kind of move his head a lot and try to get in there. Again, this is going to be a huge step up for Jack. The question is Jack ready for this kind of step? I think so. I think the line reflects that Jack is the man. Question is, man, why is it so wide? Why is this line so wide? Why is Jack Della getting all this respect when Randy Brown has come out here against very good strikers and shown himself to be adequate? And I think in this, especially with a bigger cage, you're looking at the Randy Brown side. He hasn't necessarily gone for takedowns, but he's a smart fighter who knows that that's the area he may have to approach for this fight, and I expect him to at least give it a try. Is he going to get caught up? Is Jack Della? I know Jack Della's going to want him to be like, come on, I'm right here. I haven't moved. Let's go. Come on, can you hit me? No? Pop, pop, pop. Let me get on the inside and try to do something. So Jack, I can see why people like him, but on Friday, you guys are going to tune in because I think Randy Brown has a path to victory here. I've seen Jack Della go down. I've seen him wrestle, and I haven't necessarily been that impressed, but he is making strides. He's going to get better, but is this the time where Randy Brown can take advantage? Is Randy Brown smart enough to take advantage? Is he going to allow himself not to get caught up in Jack's forward movement and not to get caught up in the fact that, okay, I'm hitting him with a couple jabs and I'm doing really well. I'm going to go ahead and now take this down. If he's able to do those things, then that's fine. What I'm worried is that Jack Della is going to try to lower him in. It's going to be like, oh, yeah, you hit me with a jab. Because Jack will take one to land one because he knows when he lands one, it may be done. It may be over shortly after. So Jack's going to be setting up these traps for him, and it's going to be up to Randy Brown not to fall for it. Randy Brown is old enough. He's good enough. He can do this, but is he going to be able to have the right mindset going in? I'm going to tell you guys on Friday. But as of right now, I think Randy Brown has a path to victory. And I think the line is maybe a little bit too wide. I would favor Jack Della because of his ability. But there's a lot of question marks there for the groundwork of Jack Della. And we do know that Randy Brown has that potential to go there and make this thing very tough. Randy Brown could mix things up. Jab, jab, cross, stay long, and then try to close in the gap when Jack Della does set up those traps. So very, very good fight. I think it's either going to be a knockout from Jack Della, or we may see some things from Randy Brown. So you guys are definitely, it's going to be a fun fight. You guys are going to tune in on Friday for the write-up, but let's get into your next fight. All right, let's get into your next fight. Your next fight is coming at you from the heavyweight division, a slobber knocker, a sloppy fight. We have Justin Tafa versus Parker Porter. Let's look at the Justin Tafa side. Justin Tafa is 29 years old. He's 5-3. The guy is not very good. He was supposed to be that guy, but he just wasn't, right? He doesn't have the chin, doesn't have the cardio, doesn't have a lot of things that the UFC was expecting. And this is going to be a show me spot. The one thing that Justin Tafa has for him, though, is that he's powerful. He goes out there, he swings big bombs, and if he can connect, he may end up ending the fight. It may go his way. Question is like, he's laid an egg so many times that can you trust Justin Tafa to come out here? I know like this is his backyard, and the UFC's like, come on, show me. We're putting you up against the guy who I consider to be like a weird benchmark in the UFC. Looking at Parker Porter, he's 37 years old. He's 13-7. The guy is... He wasn't necessarily a full-time mixed martial artist, and then he devoted himself to it. You saw his body transform some. He's really given himself to this thing, and he's a guy that wants to win. He has that desire, that want, but mentally, if you can break him or if you can make him second guess or even land on him hard enough, you can break that will, not because he wants it to be broken, but because he's not necessarily the most durable person. That's why I consider him to be a benchmark. He goes out here and people that he beats, the UFC tends to normally cut. That's just what it is, right? And when you're looking at it, in this fight, Parker Porter is going to be focused on winning minutes. That's what he wants to do. He wants to win minutes leading up to tiring someone like Tafa out. Parker Porter considers himself to be one of these fighters that can go all 3 rounds and can take someone down and can push past that part that's like, I'm done, I quit, I don't want to keep going. He can push past that. The issue is that, again, he's just not very durable. I don't think he's got the best chin. And I think Justin Tafa is going to have that ability. Question is like, you're sitting here looking at the Justin Tafa side. He's going to be favored because he has the power. It's in his backyard. You can see why. But, man, this guy's laid an egg so many times that I don't know if you can trust him. This may end up being a dog spot, but the dog isn't plus 200. The dog is like very minimal dog. So it's almost, when this thing pops off, it could be a pick 'em. It could be close to that. It could be Justin Tafa, minus 120. Parker Porter, maybe plus 100. You may even see him at like a minus 110 because people are understanding that Justin Tafa just isn't it. And if they can get plus money on the other side of Justin Tafa with a guy who they know can go 3 rounds, can take someone down, could potentially get knocked out, but if he's there, if he's going to be there, Justin Tafa will gas out. Justin Tafa will allow himself to be there, and you'll start seeing things from Justin Tafa that are extraordinarily sloppy, that almost, you're like, he's conceding the fight, he's turning over, he's doing things. So, in the end, I look at this currently as like a dog or pass thing. I just wish I was getting plus 200 on the dog, and then maybe I would take a chance because it isn't necessarily that worth it. We know Parker Porter can get knocked out. We know that Justin Tafa has that power. So as of right now, I do favor the Justin Tafa side slightly, but I would never put a bet on Justin Tafa unless I had some amazing information that was like, Justin Tafa is just killing it. He's turned a new leaf. He got a new chin. Something on the Justin Tafa side. I'm looking. Why are you favored? I see why, but come on, man. Give me something. Give me something better. And that's what I'm looking at this fight. But in the end, right now, if you're asking me, it's going to be dog or pass. But on Friday, you're going to want to tune into the write-up. So let's get into your next fight. Now your last fight for the main card is coming at you from the light heavyweight division. We have Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menifield. Let's get on to the Jimmy Crute side first. Jimmy Crute is 26 years old. He's 6'2", 74-inch reach. Recently, he's had 2 KOs he's coming off of. Actually, he's coming off of a little bit of a year layoff, but we'll get into more of that stuff in the write-up. But as of right now, you guys, he's been knocked out by Jamal Hill. And he got knocked out by Anthony Smith. Let's talk about that Anthony Smith one just a minute, because that Anthony Smith fight, I'm not going to lie to you guys, we were on the Jimmy Crute side. Jimmy Crute had come into that fight saying, like, guys, I know what I have to do to win this fight. I have to do A, B, and C, and I got it down. I, having seen Jimmy Crute tell me that he's got A, B, C all before, was like, okay, this guy's got it. He's got it, right? He goes out there. He was only supposed to strike with Anthony Smith for a while in order to kind of beat up his front leg, and then he was going to look for takedowns. That was his game plan coming in. He goes out there and tries to strike with Anthony Smith more than what he was supposed to, and he ends up getting leg kicked himself. When he got leg kicked, he ended up getting dead leg. That's when you hit a nerve in the leg and it just goes out completely. So Jimmy Crute decides, okay, time for plan A. Not plan B and C like I was doing. Time for plan A. Take him down. Took him down pretty much with ease and was controlling him and doing work down there, which is what the game plan was going to be this whole time. He was coming in shape, ready to go, and he ended up, I don't know, something happened to him, and talking to him later, he gassed a little bit. There was a lot of things going on leading up to that fight that were issues, but one thing is, like, he's a younger fighter. He's not the most reliable fighter either. He doesn't necessarily have the best fight IQ. And now we know he's susceptible to leg kicks. Once you get dead leg like that, opponents know that, and then that's something that they target. But in the end, Jimmy Crute, he suffers from not being able to follow a game plan. I think that's where the odds makers lined him the way they did. But let's look at the Alonzo Menifield side. Alonzo Menifield is 35 years old. He's 6 foot, 76-inch reach, so he's going to have a reach advantage. The thing about Alonzo Menifield, he's strong, he's powerful, but he's sloppy. He's really sloppy. He's inexperienced in MMA, and that came across in a lot of his fights. But his camp is on top of him. They're trying to get him better and trying to... He's killing people in the gym. Like, why don't you just do what you do in the gym? No one takes you down in the gym. You're constantly beating people to the punch in the gym. You're hitting your straight shots. But for some odd reason, you go out in the fight, you get a little bit of that adrenaline. He starts winging shots and then hitting with like doing some crazy stuff. It's effective, but it's not necessarily the crisp technique that you saw in the gym. And so you have to start to wonder, does Alonzo Menifield have some kind of a mental block when it comes down to performing on the night of the fight? Again, it's something he's been working on. It's something that he knows, he's identified and said, look, I have an issue. For some odd reason, I'm ready to go. I am the most confident ever, the best game plan. But when I get out there, this adrenaline hits me and I gas out. I forget what I'm doing. My coach is yelling things, and I'm like a zombie. I just move forward and do my thing and swing from great. Loses all that, right? Loses all that, the stuff he's worked on. But he's going to have a path to victory because we've seen Jimmy Crute come out here with a game plan and not successfully execute it. That doesn't necessarily instill like this confidence. Oh, I'm going to bet Jimmy Crute and he's going to dominate, right? He's got the potential to dominate. If he comes out here, follows his game plan, takes Alonzo Menifield down, he can work Alonzo Menifield. He can win this thing by ground and pound, by submission easily. Alonzo Menifield doesn't necessarily do the appropriate things on the ground to put himself in the appropriate position to not be in danger for those submissions that Jimmy Crute will be able to hit. But Alonzo Menifield's like, hey, he's been knocked out before. I can lure him in. I can lure him in to striking, and I can knock this guy out. He's gonna be hitting those uppercuts. You know, we saw it last week. Derek Lewis had a shot. Derek Lewis had a chance. But what happened? Derek Lewis got taken down and dominated and got finished, right? This is another one of those fights. Alonzo Menifield has a chance. Alonzo Menifield, initially, because he's so strong and he has that football background, big old legs, right? He can stuff takedowns. He will be able to stuff them. At that point, is Jimmy Crute's gas going to be there? Because we have seen Jimmy Crute fall into the same thing. So there's a lot of value on the Alonzo Menifield side. If you're on Alonzo Menifield, I'm like, I see it. I can see the path of victory. Thing is like you're sitting out there and you're like, Jimmy Crute's got the better path to victory if he follows it, the more easy path. Those standing knockouts aren't necessarily, they don't come all the time, but we have seen Jimmy Crute knocked out. Alonzo Menifield, huge step up for him. He's the striker in this matchup. He's the value side, but at the end of the day, guys, I do favor Jimmy Crute slightly. I think Jimmy Crute will come out here and implement his game plan. That's what he's supposed to do. So right now, that's where it is. Now, if I get information on these two fighters or some information that allows me to look at the value side and be like, I understand why now we need to bet Alonzo Menifield, you're going to see that on Friday in the write-up. So you guys tune in. Right now, favor Jimmy Crute. Tune in the write-up because I do see the value in Alonzo Menifield. I really do. I need to see some things, though, and I need to figure out what's going on in his head. But that's it, guys. That's going to be your main card breakdown for UFC 284. It's going to be a banger of a card. Now, there you go. We broke down the whole main card for this humongous UFC 284 event that's going to go down February 11th. You guys are going to want to tune in. I told you guys to tune in to Bellator. I told you guys to get that Bellator card, get that Bellator Max Fight Pick. I gave you every opportunity because, guys, we were ready for that card. We're ready for this card. And this card, you're going to want to jump on right now. You're going to want to jump on the card early. You're going to want to get that right up immediately and bet it. And if you guys like this kind of content, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit your post notifications and comment down below UFC 284. Let me know that you guys made it all the way to the end of the video. I want to see the OG, the true Cappers Direct family out there hitting me up in the comments and hitting this with a like because Saturday, February 11th is going to be a great day to win, baby. Let's get it.